There are three broad goals that we hope to accomplish with Drawdown Georgia. This is the statewide movement of people engaging around climate action for our state. And the first one is we want to achieve drawdown itself. The term was coined by Project Drawdown, a nonprofit that has studied the world's most substantive solutions to reverse global warming. They call drawdown the point in time where atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases peak and begin to decline. In other words, it's the time when the Earth begins to cool. What does that mean for a region, though? For Georgia to achieve drawdown, it means that we begin as a state to sequester more greenhouse gases each year than we emit. The second goal of this movement we hope to build is to solve other collateral problems while we scale these climate solutions. They don't exist in isolation. Things like a plant-rich diet has tremendous benefits for human health. Planting more trees and scaling the work of our natural forests to pull carbon down will also mean we have cleaner air, cleaner water. There's so many co-benefits, especially when it comes to issues around equity. Can we advance social justice by working on climate? And the answer is yes. We want to make sure that that's a fundamental part of this as well. And then finally, our third broad goal here is we want Drawdown Georgia to unite Georgians. We have so much diversity in this state, diversity in all of its different forms, whether it's racial diversity, urban and rural, or if we're talking about the mountains of North Georgia all the way down to the coast. We believe that Drawdown Georgia can become a common framework within which all of us as Georgians can collectively work on solving one of the most significant challenges that our generations face.
Since COVID has begun, more Georgians are aware of climate change. In fact, 43% report that they are more aware since COVID has hit. And when we ask consumers has your awareness of climate change shifted since the pandemic began, you can see that really almost half have had their perception shift. Okay, this is pretty striking to me. And this is one of the things that I think just gives me hope, is that Georgians believe that climate change and global warming really do matter. And they plan to make positive changes in their behavior to reflect this belief. So when we asked consumers, how worried are you that climate change is negatively impacting Georgia? 73% said they're very or somewhat worried. And when we asked how important is the issue of global warming to you personally, 54% said it's very or somewhat important. Georgians are really passionate about these issues and really are going to sort of match their behaviors as a result. Georgians are also very well versed in climate change, but they're interested in learning more. So when we ask consumers, how interested are you in learning more about these solutions? You can see on the left-hand side, they're really interested in learning about all of the solutions. By far, the top solution was reduced food waste. Georgians are really interested in sort of learning more about this because it's something that we can control and act on. Georgians also believe that climate change and social justice are related issues. In fact, when we say, in your opinion, how related are climate change and social justice issues in general, 56%, over half of all Georgia responders say, yes, I strongly or somewhat feel strongly that they are related. This is even more significant for college students at 80%, urban residents at 74%, those in that 18 to 34 bracket, 70%, and African Americans at 68%.
We want this to be, as I had called it, a movement. And for it to be that, it needs to be joinable by stakeholders of all different stripes. When it comes to business engagement, we have tremendous partners at Georgia Tech in particular, and the leadership of the Ray C. Anderson Center for Sustainable Business within Georgia Tech's Scheller College of Business. They are taking the task of trying to organize engagement from the business community broadly. And that includes Fortune 100 companies that are headquartered here in Atlanta, but also businesses that are on the smaller side, perhaps having their entire operations within our state. And they will, by engaging with them, allow for those businesses to share best practices, to discuss how they can collaboratively solve these challenges. We know that engagement from businesses will be critically important to getting significant amounts of carbon out of the atmosphere here in our state. It's what Georgia can do. It needs all of us, but when you get one business, that represents significant potential for carbon reduction and those collateral benefits and the co-benefits that I had mentioned. So there's going to be many opportunities, but I'd like to call out the folks at Georgia Tech for the leading role that they will play.
It is such an important issue, and for this initial survey, we intentionally kept it pretty broad, just to get sort of that global sense of how consumers feel climate change and social justice are related issues. So the fact that 56% do feel that they are related issues, and that there's sort of this need to sort of work together to get things done is really important. But the other big thing that came up is sort of, gender equality and race equality and all of those things sort of in the open ends. And there were so many great comments. We wanted to include them all. There just wasn't enough room, but just sort of the importance that all people should be treated equal. And we all need to work together to make sure all people are created equal, and that we all have an opportunity to make an impact.
2 of the 5 solution sectors are electricity and transportation. So in the electricity space, it's very clear that within Georgia, there's a significant energy burden that's put on the most disadvantaged communities. They pay a disproportionately higher percentage of their income towards their utilities. And as we imagine scaling a solution like large-scale solar or rooftop solar, and we know that the sun provides its energy free of charge, we need to make sure that the benefits of, in the long term, reducing our energy costs are flowing to the people who might not have the ability to scale those solutions themselves. Rooftop solar in particular, you have to be very careful around the issue of the lower cost energy only going to the people who can afford to put solar panels on their roof.